Brisbane faces its biggest storm threat in weeks. Tomorrow afternoon, 100 millimetres of rain guaranteed for the city. Some areas could see triple that amount. Are you in the danger zone? Right now, a massive weather system is organising itself across Western Queensland. Within the next 12 hours, it will slam into Brisbane and the Gold Coast with thunderstorms packing dangerous lightning, damaging winds and torrential rain. If you live anywhere between Rainbow Beach and the New South Wales border, the next 72 hours will change everything. Here is what you need to know in the next 30 seconds. Severe thunderstorms will develop tomorrow afternoon across southeast Queensland. Brisbane will receive at least 100 millimetres of rain between Thursday night and Sunday morning. The Gold Coast, Scenic Rim and Sunshine Coast south of Noosa will see similar totals. Some isolated areas could record 300 to 400 millimetres. Flash flooding is highly likely in the Wivenhoe catchment, Somerset Dam area and Lockyer Valley. I will give you exact timing for when the storms hit your area in just 2 minutes. But first, let me show you what is happening right now across Queensland. At this very moment, thunderstorms are firing up around Mount Isa, extending down to Windora. Within 2 hours, these storms will reach as far east as Charleville and possibly Roma. The system is already building moisture across northeastern New South Wales and pushing into southeast Queensland. There is an outside chance for scattered showers around Toowoomba and the Darling Downs this afternoon, particularly the Western Downs. However, Brisbane and the broader southeast will stay mostly dry today despite the humid, warm conditions. Why? The atmosphere is simply too dry right now. Even though it feels sticky and uncomfortable, there is not enough moisture in the mid-levels of the atmosphere to generate storms. That changes tomorrow. Dramatically. Now, before I reveal the exact timeline for Brisbane, let me address the tropical low sitting offshore from North Queensland. This is Tropical Low 23 uniform. We have been tracking this system for days. Good news, it is moving away from the Queensland coast, heading either northeast or southeast into the Coral Sea. The system looked impressive this morning with strong thunderstorm activity around the centre, but in the last few hours it has significantly weakened. Wind shear, the enemy of tropical systems, is tearing this low apart. However, and this is critical, do not write it off yet. By this weekend, this tropical low could drift back toward the central Queensland coastline. If that happens, areas between Mackay and Townsville, possibly south to Rockhampton, could see substantial rainfall. Some forecast models are predicting 200 to 250 millimetres. Artificial intelligence weather models are going even further, suggesting 500 millimetres for the lower Burdekin, Proserpine and Pioneer River catchments. That would be catastrophic for those already saturated areas. These regions do not need that much rain. The forecast remains uncertain, but the trend is worrying. I will have more on this in 5 minutes when I break down the longer range outlook. Now back to tomorrow. This is where things get serious for southeast Queensland. Tomorrow afternoon will be a game changer. After weeks of dry conditions, southeast Queensland is about to break the drought in spectacular fashion. Heavy rain is coming. Some of it will be very heavy, particularly across Brisbane, Gold Coast and the Scenic Rim. Northeastern New South Wales will also cop a drenching. Let me walk you through exactly what will happen, hour by hour. Tonight, thunderstorms will continue across southwestern Queensland. Then tomorrow afternoon, a surface trough currently sitting in Western Queensland will push eastward. As this trough moves through, it will drag massive amounts of moisture from the Pacific Ocean directly into southeast Queensland. This is the trigger. Significant thunderstorm development will begin around lunchtime tomorrow through central Queensland, the Western Downs, Warrego region and southwestern Queensland. These storms will be what meteorologists call pulse thunderstorms. They will not organise into supercells because wind shear is too weak, but make no mistake, they will still be dangerous. Expect localised heavy rainfall, damaging wind gusts and intense lightning. Towns like Charleville, Roma, Dalby, Chinchilla, Claremont and Moora are all in the firing line for scattered severe storms tomorrow afternoon. But here is what you really need to pay attention to. If you have been watching closely, you will notice a southeasterly change pushing through on the southern flank of this system. That change will trigger thunderstorms inland from Newcastle, around Barrington Tops and Port Macquarie. As this southeasterly change continues north, it will clash with the warm, moist air over southeast Queensland. It will be very warm tomorrow. Then in the late afternoon, thunderstorms will explode around Toowoomba and Warwick. Now here comes the critical timing. Into the evening and nighttime hours, these storms will push into Brisbane, the Gold Coast and greater southeast Queensland. Let me zoom in and give you the specific timeline. Around 10 o'clock tomorrow night, storms will push up from the border ranges through northeastern New South Wales, then into southeast Queensland. By 10 o'clock, Brisbane and the Gold Coast will be getting hammered. The most advanced forecast models show multi-cellular cluster thunderstorms. Think of regular pulse thunderstorms, but instead of one blob of storms, you get multiple blobs in the same area. Storms with lots of individual cells. This means patchy to widespread heavy rainfall and lots of lightning. The picture is clearest around the New South Wales-Queensland border, but also extending up to the Wivenhoe catchment and South Burnett. A dry line will set up further inland around Toowoomba and Warwick, meaning significant thunderstorm potential there too, particularly in the early evening hours. Surprisingly, storms will not be widespread further inland toward Texas or Goondiwindi. Northeastern New South Wales will also see good thunderstorm potential. These will be rainmakers. We have so much moisture in the atmosphere. Remember, these are thunderstorms. Rainfall will be isolated and sporadic, but when it hits big. When forecast models show clusters of thunderstorms like this, their rainfall predictions become more accurate. While 150 millimetres in a few spots tomorrow is a stretch, it is possible, especially if you get a slow-moving or stagnant thunderstorm sitting over one location for an extended period. That could dump massive amounts of rain in a short time. Here is where it gets even more interesting. The best part of this forecast comes on Friday and Saturday. Friday will see a deeper, stronger low-pressure system develop. This low will be positioned further south than the one we see tomorrow. It will tap into even more moisture from the Coral Sea and Tasman Sea. Easterly winds will slam moisture directly into the coast. This is when the heaviest rain will fall. Models show widespread falls of 50 to 100 millimetres across most of southeast Queensland. But the standout areas, the ones that could see truly exceptional rain, include the Sunshine Coast hinterland, the area around Maleny, Montville, Kenilworth and the Blackall Range. These locations could record 150 to 200 millimetres between Friday and Sunday. The Gold Coast hinterland, particularly the Scenic Rim, could see similar totals. Brisbane City will likely walk away with 100 millimetres, possibly more. The forecast trend for Brisbane is actually increasing, which is excellent news given how dry it has been. Let me give you the total rainfall accumulation forecast for the entire event Thursday through Sunday. Brisbane, guaranteed 100 millimetres, possibly more. Gold Coast, 100 millimetres or more. Scenic Rim, depending on Thursday, thunderstorms could see 100 to 200 millimetres. Sunshine Coast, particularly south of Noosa around Maleny, Caloundra and Kenilworth, likely triple-figure falls approaching 200 millimetres. Everywhere between Tin Can Bay, Rainbow Beach and south to the New South Wales-Queensland border will see significant rain. Northeastern New South Wales will also cop decent falls, but totals drop off a bit there. The best news, major forecast models agree. The global forecast system shows significant rainfall, though slightly less because it runs at lower resolution. The European model is neck and neck with the Australian Access model, in fact slightly more supportive for the Sunshine Coast. This agreement between models gives me high confidence in this forecast. If you are desperate for rain in southeast Queensland, you should be very excited right now. But here is the part I need you to pay close attention to. Given sea surface temperatures, dew points and atmospheric moisture levels, there is a risk of isolated, far heavier rainfall accumulations. This is still uncertain, but it impacts people, so I am mentioning it now. The area of highest concern includes the Lockyer Valley, Wivenhoe catchment and Somerset Dam, extending north almost to Gympie, but not quite. Through Somerset Dam, inland from Caboolture and the Stanley Valley, we could see very significant rainfall. If convergence zones set up, there is an isolated risk of rainfall exceeding 250 millimetres, potentially pushing toward 350 or even 400 millimetres. That would cause flooding, particularly river flooding, but also significant flash flooding. Please keep this in mind Friday night into Sunday morning. Catchments can handle a lot of water, and I am not particularly concerned about any specific catchments right now. But an initial flood watch has been issued across southeast Queensland. This is something we must monitor closely. Tomorrow night's late forecast runs will be very interesting. We will also see what happens Friday morning to determine if this extreme rainfall scenario is likely. Consider this your early heads up that something may develop on the flooding front around Wivenhoe, the Lockyer Valley and Somerset Dam. I will keep close tabs on this. Now, as promised, let me return to tropical low 23 uniform and the longer range forecast. This storm will dominate our forecasts over the next several days. We expect it to meander around in the Coral Sea, taking an erratic track before generally heading south toward the weekend. It will then merge with the monsoon trough, which will strengthen much further south than usual, bringing more rainfall to southern areas. Artificial intelligence forecast models have gone wild on this rainfall scenario. The European model shows very significant accumulations around Townsville and Mackay, particularly between those two cities. AI models are predicting 0.5 metre, 500 millimetres for the lower Burdekin, Proserpine and Pioneer River catchments. This would be disastrous. These places are saturated. 500 millimetres would be catastrophic. If this monsoonal trough and associated low pressure system establish themselves later this weekend into early next week, it will become a major concern. The trend right now supports significant rainfall for that part of Queensland. There is also increasing support for moisture surging through the Cape York Peninsula and into northwestern Queensland. These areas do not need 200 to 250 millimetres, as models suggest. That is possible later next week into the following weekend, around the 20th of February onward. This trend has been solid over the last few days. Queensland is in a very turbulent time right now with lots to discuss. So let me summarise everything you need to know. Tomorrow afternoon, Thursday, severe thunderstorms develop across western and central Queensland. By late afternoon, storms fire up around Toowoomba and Warwick. Around 10 o'clock tomorrow night, storms hit Brisbane and the Gold Coast. Heavy rain, dangerous lightning, damaging winds. Friday and Saturday bring the heaviest falls as a deep low pressure system parks itself off the coast. Easterly winds pump moisture into the ranges, widespread 50 to 100 millimetres. Isolated areas could see 150 to 200 millimetres or more. Total accumulations Thursday through Sunday. Brisbane, 100 millimetres minimum. Gold Coast, 100 millimetres or more. Sunshine Coast, south of Noosa, approaching 200 millimetres. Scenic Rim, 100 to 200 millimetres. Highest risk areas for extreme falls and possible flooding include Wivenhoe Catchment, Somerset Dam and Lockyer Valley. Flooding is possible but not certain. Flood watch is active. For central and northern Queensland, tropical low 23 uniform remains offshore but could impact areas between Mackay and Townsville this weekend with potentially very heavy rain. Longer range late next week into the following weekend, northwestern Queensland and Cape York could see significant rainfall as the monsoon trough strengthens. Where do you live? Comment below with your location and I will keep you updated with specific forecasts for your area as this event unfolds. This is a major weather event for Queensland. The next 72 hours will be crucial. Stay tuned for updates. Tomorrow night as forecast runs will be critical in determining the final rainfall totals and flooding risk. Let me break down what this means for specific communities. Brisbane's western suburbs, particularly Ipswich and Springfield, you are in line for the heaviest rainfall. Gold Coast hinterland around Springbrook and Lamington, expect significant rainfall Friday and Saturday. If you have properties near creeks, move vehicles to higher ground now, clear gutters and drains. Sunshine Coast south of Noosa, particularly Maleny and Montville, you are looking at the highest totals, possibly 200 millimetres or more. North of Noosa, rainfall drops off significantly. Toowoomba will see severe thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon and evening, but the main rain event will largely miss you. Expect 20 to 50 millimetres. Northern New South Wales will catch the southern edge, likely 50 to 100 millimetres. What should you do? First, identify evacuation routes if you live in flood-prone areas. Second, stock up on essentials for 3 days. Third, charge all devices. Fourth, secure outdoor furniture. Fifth, use your rainwater tank now before it fills. Farmers, check your dams and ensure spillways are clear. Inspect creek crossings. Brisbane River catchment managers, Wivenhoe and Somerset dams will see significant inflows, but current levels allow plenty of storage capacity. By Sunday afternoon, the low moves away southeast. Showers ease, but Monday could see scattered showers. Sea surface temperatures in the Coral Sea are above average, providing extra fuel for these storms. This is why models show such impressive moisture content and potential for extreme rainfall. The tropical low offshore benefits from these warm waters. If wind shear relaxes, it could reorganise and become a problem for central Queensland. Looking ahead to late February, the monsoon trough will remain active and further south than normal, meaning continued wet conditions for northern Queensland. This is the rain southeast Queensland has been waiting for, but with any significant rainfall event comes risk. Stay weather aware, monitor local warnings from the Bureau of Meteorology. Do not drive through floodwater. Just 15 centimetres of flowing water can float a car. 60 centimetres will sweep away most vehicles. If the road is flooded, turn around. Keep watching for updates as this situation develops over the next 3 days. I will be providing regular updates as new forecast data becomes available. The late night forecast runs tonight, and tomorrow night will be particularly important in refining rainfall totals and identifying any areas at elevated risk for flash flooding. Comment below with where you live and I will make sure you get the specific information you need.